Hello, my name is Jasmine Jernigan, and today I'm going to present public schools and private schools in regards to my examples of a public and private sector. Just a brief overview. Again, I'll go over the organizations that I'm presenting, some similarities, some differences, the closing, and the references. So I'll be going over public versus private schools. I know this is a big debate, especially for parents, about how to invest in your child's future. Do you invest early on? Do you invest more towards college? And the similarities and differences between the two type of schoolings. So starting off with some similarities, I kind of went off of the article that we read on Graham Allison with the fundamental alikes of the organizations that are unimportant aspects, such as athletics. Most private schools and public schools still have their education or physical education department, your PE. Um, you're always there for education. At the end of the day, it's education formulated or administered by your faculty and staff, and the goal is to, graduate. That's the goal. And then there's several differences when speaking on public and private, but four that I really want to focus on were cost, class size, class focus, and religion. In regards to cost for a public school, you have your local taxes, you have your state taxes, it's government funded. Your class size is about 25 to 1, and that's your student to teacher ratio. And then class focus, what I mean by that is kind of the curriculum that the school focuses on. And since public schools are funded by local taxes, state, governmental aspects, their main focus is state mandated. So I know here in Texas, we used to have the tax test, and that was the Texas Assessment of Knowledge and Skills. But around 2014, I believe, they converted over to the STAR test. And so I know a lot of times, especially when I was in high school, I graduated in 2013, that the curriculum was heavily based on you got to pass this tax test to move on to the next level. And it really didn't focus on fundamentals we'll need outside of high school, like adapting to college. And if you weren't going to college, what's offered out there to you, covering taxes, home economics class, the basic needs for living outside of school weren't offered as much because I know the funding was coming from, well, how much of a percentage did your students pass this test? And kind of based on those state mandated tests were the budgets that were given for the next year. And then as far as religion, the Constitution separates your church and state. So unfortunately, right now, I know it's a big debate if, you know, religion should be put into these public schools. But right now, there's a separation between those that public schools can't offer religion. And so I know that's why it's a big thing for the private sector. A mass majority, about 79% of private schools have religion in their schools, and then about 18.4% are non-religious, but they still give those higher expectations, curriculum, school focus. They're more on let's really hone in on what you would like to do in life. From music to theater to production to writing to sports. It's kind of like a mini college preparation. And then in regards to class sizes, they're a lot smaller. They have that 19 to 1 student ratio. They really have that one-on-one time to focus in on each student, trying to help them rather. Not all public schools are like this, but some public schools, the class sizes are more than a teacher can handle. And so some students won't necessarily, the teacher doesn't mean to like kind of lose focus on you, but there's just so much going on, and keeping that focus on the state mandated test and other things that sometimes you kind of get lost in the system. But there's a price to those private schools. I've seen that they range from about $5,300 roughly to $25,000 at the most. So investing is something serious when you get to private schools. And so that's kind of just a basic overview of what I saw in the public versus private sector regarding schools. It kind of made me analyze a private versus public. Not to say that parents that send their kids to public school don't have a motivational expectation for their students or for their children, but I sometimes think that private sector parents or private school parents, kind of follow Maslow's law. They're trying to make sure, like, okay, so my child has food, water, shelter. They know that they belong here. They know that they have a great family, and then we're about to move up. We're about to get them out there in this world at an early age. We want them to be out there and let them know who they belong to, where they fit in, how they're going to serve their purpose in life. And I kind of feel like that's where public and private come into a big sector. Like private, they have more of that support group. They're getting you out there. They're trying to get you on the right path as soon as possible. But public schools also have those resources. It's not as strict and not as resourceful at times, but public schools can have that also with the type of funding that they have and outside funding that they can get. But that is my conclusion, and thank you for listening.